right, guys, welcome to Monday Mindset Monday. I'm super excited to be on here. If you guys are on here, this is my first time on YouTube, so I'm trying to get the hang of things. I know that there's like a chat box, so if you guys have any questions or you want to let me know what you're struggling with, just type that there. Basically, how this is going to go is I plan on doing a talk like this every Monday. I just think that, there's enough sort of information out there as far as like what workouts to do and what to eat. Like, we know that stuff. There's no shortage of that. The problem is, how do we actually get ourselves to do that? How do we stay motivated? Because it's just so easy to lose focus of what we want and why we want it, especially, in a time like this. Okay. And so what we're going to do is I'm basically going to spend about 30 minutes doing a little bit of training. And I'm going to be teaching you the same way that I teach my clients, but probably a little bit more almost in depth, because I can actually give you guys a full 30 minutes of some type of motivation piece, motivation tool and it's not really so much motivation, it's more training. So I want you guys to understand or think of this just like how what should we be focusing on? How can we train our mind to stay focused on the goals that we want to create for ourselves, or the life that we want to create? And we'll just be spending every Monday together going over that so that we can stay aligned with what we want and not get distracted about what's going on in the world. Okay. All right. So we'll do a little Q&A afterwards, and I'm just going to go ahead and get started right now. Okay, so as we are going through this quarantine, thing is, you guys probably had some type of things that you were working on prior to when the quarantine started, and either there was your goals from the beginning of the year or just something that you had been working on. And I just want you guys to know that none of that has changed. The outcome has not changed. The only thing is that the environment has changed. So maybe your strategy has to change. But other than that, everything should be the same. Okay. And so it's in 5 years, in 3 years, in 1 year. So hopefully, we'll touch on that a little bit. And, that's really important to know, hey, what it is that do I want? Okay. That's excellent to know. It's so very important. It's the first thing. But today what we're going to touch on is, I'm going to remind you more about is more important than anything you're choosing to create. Let's say you have a goal of, hey, I just want to have peak physical shape, whatever that may look like for you. And so, but instead of just understanding what it is I want, which is, some people, I would say most people, actually not even most ourselves, we have all this time where we fundamentally are able to go within right now and reflect a little bit more than maybe, at other times. Okay. Because we don't have to be at work every day, or at least some of us, we have a little bit more space, and we're out of our regular routines of whatever we do because we have, because of the quarantine. So we have that time, to spend with ourselves. So right now it's just I just can't even emphasize how much of a important and amazing opportunity this is to do a little bit of inner reflection and really look at what is important to me, and kind of go into what I think of as a big picture thinking, or a little bit more strategy thinking, or, really get inside of why we do the things we do. Okay. And a lot of times we assess what we're doing and maybe what we need to shift or change to get a different result or have a better experience, etc. Okay. Seldom do we go deeper than what are we after? What are we doing? And what we what we need to be doing, or what I could say, stop doing and ask that question, why am I doing this? Why do I want to go do that thing over there? Why do I want to go work out? Why do I want to eat this meal? Because that's what ensures success or failure. That's what ensures that we get where we choose to go. Or we fundamentally, or we just don't make it there. Okay. Where we find ourselves not wanting to take action, not wanting to get up early, not wanting to go for a walk. And so when you get in touch with what you choose to create, what you want for yourself, what life you want to create, and you name that for yourself, when you name the things that you need to do to take you there, then it's important that you guys go a little bit deeper and ask yourself that question. Well, why is it that I'm doing it? Okay. Why is it that I'm doing it? And then check in and see, is that why truly meaningful? Okay. And so for me, this time of year, or I mean, like, during the quarantine, I always do, well, I mean, this is something I'm always doing, but right now I'm doing it even more frequently. I'm tapping into what it is I want, why I choose to create it. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that, or you may have seen that I like post it up on my, on every, yeah, actually I did it right here. So on every day, I literally write down my what, why, and how. So I write down, I connect with my vision. And what I want to be connecting to is what I call the 5-3-1. And so I think out 5 years from now. So maybe, take a moment. If you haven't done this, go ahead and get the vision very clear in your mind right now and activate it while we have this time together. Okay. So if you have not, if you don't know where, if you haven't done this before, it's been a while since you've done this, maybe take a minute and think about or name at least one or two things you choose to create, or spaces you choose to be in 5 years. What do you want to be occurring in 5 years? Whether it has to do with your body, your career, whether it has to do with your personal life, your personal space. Okay, so when you think 5 years out today, name two things that you choose to fulfill, you would love to fulfill, but no more than five. Okay, you want to keep it really small, because I say no more than five benchmarks, or things that you choose to create, because it can just get too, like, it's just becomes too many, right? And nothing gets done. So close your eyes and imagine that, okay, that it's truly 5 years from today. So, what is it? 2025. And if you could design your life, if you could create the life that you have always wanted to know, your kind of dream life, what would that look like in 5 years from now? What do you look like in 5 years? What are you doing in 5 years? What does your day look like? What's your experience of life, of yourself in 5 years? What do you choose to fulfill and be the reality of your life in 5 years? And just connect with that. What are you doing? Who are you with? Where do you live? As I always like to do it, I like to get very specific and imagine as though I'm literally waking up in the morning 5 years from today. And what does my day look like? What's a typical week look like? What's a month look like? What is my year going to look like? And I get as real about that as I possibly can. I imagine myself waking up, feeling amazing in the morning, and with a ton of energy, inspired about the day to come. Thinking about what am I excited about for this day, and I imagine myself going, waking up in my nice house, and working out in my home gym, and maybe going in and sitting in a sauna afterwards, and then taking a shower and starting my day. Spending time with my husband, right now boyfriend, and I imagine myself, interacting with people and transforming lives, and what's occurring, inside that transformation with them. Like me helping them eliminate the pain and then I imagine, a life that, people are accessing for themselves and within themselves. Most importantly, the joy that they come to know, the freedom that my clients come to know, the closeness with their family and friends that they generate, and the love that they get for themselves when they realize that it's not that hard to build a lean body and to do it with freedom without obsessing and over food or killing themselves in the gym. And I imagine all of that, and I imagine it happening through the things that I would be doing. I'm like, whether I'm hiking with somebody or going dirt biking with friends, or snowboarding and working with one-on-one with my clients, I imagine myself leading, seminars and retreats. And I really just sort of imagine as though it was occurring right now. Okay. Except it's in the context of the future. So 5 years today, what is most important to you guys? What connects to your core value? Okay. What inspires you most? And name that for yourself. And when you name that, name one or two things or benchmarks that you would want to fulfill to make sure it happens. And really, it's just the fewer, the better. Okay. And then work backwards and go 3 years. What does it look like 3 years from now? And so take 2 minutes right now, or just take like 1 minute. Take 1 minute right now and go there. Go 3 years from today. What needs to happen in 3 years to make sure that the 5 occurs? And more important, just what's important to you that's occurring in 3 years. And sometimes you'll see that, there's maybe a theme. Maybe there are some things that you are inspired to know in 5 years. Maybe some of those are the same in 3. Okay. Because for me, it's pretty much the same thing. And beyond that imagination. Okay. So 3 years, 5 years for you. And so thinking, 3 years, what do I choose? What would I like to see in my life? And just begin to design it. Okay. So take that like an imaginary way, like it'll never happen, but in a real and in a practical way. Okay. To create, number one, or number two, you have to get real about creating a powerful why that makes that the thing you're choosing to create an absolute necessity. Okay. Meaning I must create it. I must know this. I must know this as the reality of my life. And there's just simply no other option. That, again, imagine 3 years from today. There's at least one or two things. Definitely no more than 5. Okay. And when you set your benchmarks, then imagine what life looks like. And then again, wake up. What are you doing all day? What does your day look like? What are you doing? What's your week look like? When I made the transition from being a professional athlete to like just doing nutrition full time, everything with everything I had, I started to envision what I would like my life to look like. And I imagined myself getting up, in the morning and working out, and in my home gym, like I said, going, maybe going out for a hike in the mountains, a walk. I imagine the community of people that would be around me, the people I would be helping. I imagine becoming the foundation to really serve people. I imagine partnering up and teaming up and being in coherence with people that were as passionate about serving and transforming and fitness, and transforming people's lives as I was. And imagine what that would look like and how we'd come together, but have the freedom to do the things that we enjoy, and how it would make possible a very different life for myself. And I saw it in my mind. I saw myself, I lived it in my mind again and again and again, months before I ever actually, started to, really do it full time and creating programs and stuff like that. And I just saw myself living the life of freedom that I'd always wanted: snowboarding, skateboarding, going out for walks, taking a day of rest when I didn't want to work out, and eating things that I loved, and not stressing over food, and not being really, just stop that obsession. But it started in my mind. And so at the end of this, at the end of this year will kind of be, I guess it'll be like a year and a half since I started visualizing that, probably about a year. And of everything that I imagine, and everything is starting to really come true for myself. And I noticed that if I was lucky, I made it happen. If I was lucky, I would realize that I made it happen like over and over and over. And I was like, well, what would it look like if that was a part of life? What would it look like if that was really my life? And, some of you who are on here, what that's the rules in food and exercise. And so you're going to do that tomorrow, and you're going to be just unsatisfied with the result. Okay. If you don't know where you're going and why you're going there. So you're not going to be completely fulfilled. in what you know, and for sure you're going to know it could have been different, right? You're going to realize at some point, man, I could have created this, but I didn't. You're going to miss out on what it could have been. And so please do not underestimate the power in taking a little time and thinking through, what do I really choose to create for my life? What do I really choose from my reality? Ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like next year? Okay. And what are some benchmarks, or actually, let's say the end of the year? What do I choose to fulfill by the end of 2020? Okay. What do you want your life to look like by December of 2020? What's important to you? And perhaps there are some things that that occurred this year that are essential to you, and they're essentially you committing that's so happening because they were so important to you, because they are so valuable to you. Maybe spending time with family is extremely valuable to you. Maybe it's losing weight, right? Take a little time and name how you would like to spend that time over this quarantine time. How would you like to spend that? And what is it like? How do you need to spend it in order to get to the end of your benchmark for the end of 2020? Maybe there's some really maybe there's like you want to get stronger, you want to lift a certain amount of weight, you want to just feel more energy, more vitality, or maybe you want to have a closer connection with family or your significant other. How is it you're going to show up with them, every day while we're in quarantine? Are you going to spend dinners with your family? What kind of food are you going to focus on? Do you need to focus on? Meaning you're able to distinguish that, with clarity, so you don't spend time doing things that are not inspiring to you, okay, that are not fulfilling to you, because you only get to live one life. Don't waste it doing something that's not fulfilling or something you don't choose to be, okay? And so take that moment. If you haven't closed your eyes and really imagine, the end of this year with as much detail and clarity as possible, what do you want that to look like? Okay. How do you want to feel by the end of this quarantine or the end of this, 2020 of this year? What are the experiences you want to know inside your mind and your emotions, right? What are the connections that you want to have with people in your life? What are the things you choose to do, and what are some of the outcomes you choose to produce? Like, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to be more active? Do you want to have closer relationships? Just get really clear about the experiences. Name that 5, 3, and 1 year, and then make a commitment to acknowledging it at least once a day. Okay, tapping into that. The key to making sure that you fulfill what you intend is to acknowledge it every single day. Okay, when we come to have this like conversation, when we do this check-in, what we're talking about right now should be crystal clear for you, because you've been acknowledging it at least once a day. I have an alarm in my phone that it was going off every single hour for me to tap into the vision that I wish to create. Now it's just kind of every couple hours, and that's what I have my clients do. We have these check-ins scheduled throughout the day. Just something to acknowledge, just acknowledge, hey, what am I after? Where am I in relationship to that vision, that life I wish to create? Where am I in relationship to that vision? Don't get overwhelmed, even if the vision seems like it's a long ways away, even if it seems like a big journey between where you are now and where the vision you choose to fulfill. That's okay. Just ask yourself, where am I in relationship to this vision? And then number 3, what's the next step? What's my vision? Connect to it, focus on it, and ask yourself, where am I? What's my next step? And just take the next step. What can I do right now? Maybe it's, hey, maybe I can think about, what am I going to eat for the rest of the day? And when am I going to eat it? Or am I even hungry? Just being in tune. Maybe I need to, I'll schedule a walk-in for the day. So just focus on the next thing you need to do. What's my vision? Where do I choose to go? Where am I? What's my next step? Okay. You don't need to worry about 10 steps down the road or what's going to happen, next week, 6 months from now. Just focus on, hey, what am I going to do for, the rest? My next step forward. This is where I'm at. What is my next step? What's the first step? What's the next step or the vision from here toward what I choose to fulfill? What's the next step? And see what occurs to you. Maybe 3 things occur, maybe one thing occurs. Okay, maybe nothing occurs. Just sit with yourself until you name, 3 to 5 things, and then pick the one or the 2 that makes the most sense. Okay, right now, what could be the next step towards your vision? And name within 3 to 5 things. And then what you do is go back to the why. Why are you giving your life to it? Why are you going to give your time to it? You're going to give your year to it, your day to it, maybe several years to it. It's got to feel worthy to you. Okay, so don't waste your time doing anything in this life that isn't worthy and important to you, that isn't deserving of you, that doesn't call you to be greater than you are today. Life is too short. And as you connect with your why, you connect with your vision, get clear. Why is this important to me? Why is this worthy? Why will this call me to be greater than I am today? Why will it fulfill me? To do this every Monday. And I didn't realize that was. And so get clear on that, guys. And if you guys are wanting some help with nutrition and, really wanting to take this to the next level with some coaching, I do have a few spots left open. There is a link in the comments, I believe, somewhere on here, or you can just reach out to me and let me know if and we can see if you'd be a good fit. I've got a few different ways we can work together. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. We will talk to you next Monday. This will go on every Monday at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, and I'm really excited to be a part of your guys' journey. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later.